Narcissists, as we know them, are children in adult bodies. So in this video, I want to go over the most immature things that narcissists do and why they behave this way, how these certain tactics seem to work to their advantage despite the fact that they are grown. Number one, they ignore you, they hide, and they run away. Running away, especially during an argument when things aren't going their way or when they're getting blamed for something that they did, maybe even being asked to take responsibility for something, is really common. Yep, they're just going to hightail it right up on out of there. Running away obviously makes the fight or argument end immediately. You can't fight with somebody who isn't there. You can't try to have an argument or a discussion even with someone who isn't there. And this happens when someone highly narcissistic has no leg to stand on, and rather than admit defeat, they stop it right then and there. They run, they vanish, they hide. Obviously, this is used as a defense mechanism. They'll give an excuse about why they have to leave. They escalate a conversation to make it a fight so that they can lash out and then run away. Things like ignoring you, vanishing, ghosting is also a form of punishment. A great example of that is, of course, the silent treatment. Narcissists are big on not communicating. That's what this whole theme is: ghosting or silent treatments, vanishing, whatever you want to call it. This is taking away communication. They take this away at any opportunity they can because it is a staple of any relationship. Unfortunately, when you're with somebody highly narcissistic, a staple like being communicative honestly becomes a luxury that you only get when the other person feels like it. Refusing to communicate with a partner or with anybody, but especially with a romantic partner, is something that is very akin to what children do when they can't express themselves with their parents and they can't talk about what they're feeling. They can't articulate their feelings or what they need or what they want. So what happens? They default to pouting, yelling, screaming, sometimes even silence, running away. How many times have we seen the kid, well, I'm running away. I can't get what I want and you won't listen to me. I'm running away. That is exactly what this is, except unfortunately, the person is again a grown adult. Number two, minimization. Minimizing everything they can is a great way for highly toxic, highly narcissistic people to dodge a lot of responsibility. Minimizing is often linked with things like rationalizing. This is the opposite of exaggeration, something else a narcissist is really great at doing, but here we're seeing the flip side, the other end of the spectrum. Minimization mixed with some rationalizing. What happens is they can't flat out deny something. If you say you're sick and you don't feel good, for example, this is something they can't deny. This doesn't have anything to do with them. They can't deny it. So minimizing and rationalizing comes in. And you get something along the lines of, oh, stop it. You can't be that sick. You didn't even call off work, You get something like, oh, please, you think you're sick? I was way worse a few weeks ago. Yeah, remember when I was sick? And then you might get some rationalizing or normalizing. You might get the, well, okay, everyone gets sick. What do you want me to do about it? We all get through it. It happens to everyone. Not a big deal. So you can see how this is done. It absolves them of having to really do anything, and it's because they can't just flat out deny it. They don't take care of you. They don't care that you're sick. They don't help you pay a bill, probably because they believe you have money. This comes from they feel like you're lying, but they can't actually call you out on lying. So since they can't actually deny and go, oh, that's not true, you're just a big liar, they push everything under the rug. And it's a highly toxic and immature thing to do that pretty much all narcissistic people do. They just sweep it up on under the rug. Number three, blame shifting. And this is fairly similar to everything that we just talked about, except blame shifting kind of sounds like this. You're not that sick. You didn't call off of work or anything, so I think you'll live. Crybaby. I was sick a few weeks ago. Remember, it's not a big deal. When I was sick, maybe you shouldn't have gotten that close to me. You probably should have been careful with what you were doing because, see, now that's why you're sick. You didn't sleep on the couch and you didn't keep your distance from me. And now you want to be all upset with me because you're sick and you want to cry and bitch and moan to me when you should have just stayed away from me when I was sick to begin with. Do you see how that big ball of bullshit right there is minimizing, rationalizing, normalizing, and blame shifty? A big old pile of wordy bullshit if I have ever heard it in my life. And you'll find most things on this list are, of course, highly manipulative, which is all this is. It takes a lot of work to actually not take any responsibility for something. You truthfully know what would just be easier? Taking responsibility. But you see the long-winded way we're going to go around all this just to get out of taking some responsibility. If you'd like to talk one-on-one with a survivor, you can email BookAChatWithJess@gmail.com to get information on private phone chats with me. Number 4, cluelessness. The good old, I don't know. You've heard this. I don't know. I don't understand. What are you talking about? I'm confused. Well, I didn't know that was what you meant. You confused me. I don't understand you. Yet another great way on a lengthy list of great ways to dodge everything. If you ask somebody a question and they say, I don't know, that pretty much stops you right the fuck there, doesn't it? Just right dead in your tracks. Even if they do know and they won't tell you, there is literally nothing. There isn't shit you can do about it. Remember the bully in grade school? They took something of yours and you know they did it. And you go to them and you say, hey, you took my whatever. Where is it? Give it back. And the kid folded the arms across the chest and they went, I don't know. Well, that's what this is, but with a grown-ass person. I don't know. I don't know, and you can't make me know, and there is nothing you can do about it. It's incredibly frustrating when someone plays clueless and stupid. Number 5, justification. Justification is really interesting to me. All this is morbidly interesting to me, but this is a good one for me because this is one of the ones I find more interesting. This is a more interesting trick to me because this is occasionally where you get a lot of stories, because justification is all about making their shitty behavior okay. Right? They have to give you that excuse, that reason of, hey, I did this because, I kind of left you hanging last night because this was happening, or I flaked on you because I did this, or I had to take money out of your purse or out of your wallet because I blah, 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 blah. And so I always regale people with the time I was cheated on my birthday. I was told to go to this person's house for dinner on my birthday. So I sat and waited because I was told, well, I got to cook and I got to clean and I want to make everything nice for you. So just, get ready and I'll let you know. So I sat there all night and was ghosted right on my birthday. Imagine when he messages me the next day, of course, after he's cheated on me and things are all said and done, telling me, oh my God, super dramatic-y. You won't believe what happened to me. There I was, like a good boyfriend, at the grocery store, buying food to make you this wonderful dinner. And would you believe it, some punk cut right in front of me, and also cut in front of this little sweet old man in line. And I had to defend him. I had to smite this old man's enemies. But someone called the police, and I was wrongly and falsely arrested when all I was trying to do was give somebody some justice. And I was taken to jail, and no, I know I didn't use you as my phone call, the one who takes care of me 90% of the time. No, I randomly called a friend, but here I am now. I'm magically out and everything's just all good and all done. I mean, really? I didn't even believe this when I was told this giant pile of justification-y bullshit. But in justification is where you get beautiful little hidden gems. I'm sorry I couldn't call you. I'm sorry I just kind of totally left you hanging there. I had to do this. I had to cheat. I had to get arrested. I had to stick my nose where it didn't belong. I had to be this hero. I had to be this good person. This is where you get really, really delicious stories that you can actually tell people later, like I just did, and they're really, really funny because you can all get together and have a laugh at somebody else's really, really stupid expense. Number 6, boosting the old ego. Is there anything more annoying than someone grown as fuck feeling the need to list off their petty ass accomplishments like they've actually done some kind of, I don't know, Herculean task just to make you feel like shit and boost their own low, sad self-esteem? sadly, this is what narcissism is all about, using your bones for them to sharpen their claws and make them feel better, getting their ego boosted. If you're not going to toot their horn, don't worry. They will find a way to absolutely do it for themselves. And boosting the old ego is something that they are always going to do. They're going to be that boastful little shit that nobody could stand when we were all kids. Number 7, charm. Of course, this is what kids will default to most of the time when plans don't go their way. They'll just try and charm someone. They'll just try and be cute or funny or thoughtful. And this is where narcs get complimentary. They think that they can just ooze the charm throughout the love bombing stage, and they might maybe kind of sort of go out of their way for you a little bit. And in good faith, that all is going to come back to them as a reward later. Be careful, because a narcissist does nothing without expecting something back. The charm, as I'm sure you already know, is incredibly short-lived if you see it at all. The short-lived niceness, unfortunately, comes with a really, really hefty price that nobody wants to pay. Number 8, anger. Here's what happens when charm doesn't work. Of course, the narc will try and charm and act nice and fake, but they also lash out and throw tantrums. A true sign of immaturity makes itself extremely present when someone can't control their emotions. We have little control over how we feel and what we feel, but what we absolutely can control is our reaction to the behavior. There isn't really much to say here. They don't have that control over their emotions. They are very reactive people, and you will pay when they don't get their way. Number 9, denial. Denial is what a narc does most of the time. I spoke earlier of things that they minimize. They minimize what they can't deny. Well, here we are. Denial is where they thrive. Denial is almost the catalyst for disaster here. This is the refusal to be held accountable, the absolute dismissal of taking their actions seriously. Denial is one of the worst things they can do, and this video is really only talking about manipulation. I didn't even speak on gaslighting or devaluing or physical abuse or really rage. I did talk about anger, but really not much rage. There are other terrifying things that can happen, but denial can also be really, really painful to go through, because this is almost a form of gaslighting. This is kind of where your reality can begin to be altered. And I don't think we give ourselves enough credit, because some of this stuff that's done to us, even physical things that are done to us, affect us so deeply and so psychologically that I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for coming out clean on the other side. I really don't think that we do. This is really, really, fucked up, for lack of a more eloquent way to say it, but this is deep, and this can really trigger and affect and cause problems. And I really just think sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit for what we've gone through and the fact that we're still here and we're still okay. So if you haven't, give yourself a little bit of credit today, because if this was easy to go through, more people would go through it, as if enough don't go through it already. And frankly, I'd have a different job. And so would people like Angie Atkinson and Dr. Ramani and Lisa Romano and everyone else. We'd all have different careers if this was something, easy to do. Number 10, the victim. Last but certainly not least, the narc is going to play the victim. I don't really have much to say on that, because it pisses me off, and I'm sure, survivor, you have already experienced somebody like this playing the victim. If this video was helpful for you, I hope you will subscribe for more. Please leave a like and share the video if you think it might help somebody else. Those are completely free things that really help support my channel. I am working so hard to get to 100,000 subscribers, so if you could sub and share, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, comment down below signs of narcissistic immaturity that maybe I missed, and also why you believe they behave this way. What do they get out of acting so juvenile and so toxic and immature? Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.